Namo Buddhaya, Namaste. I'm here in this temple again, somewhere between town, where I receive prasad, and approximately 3 kilometers away, the other side of the village, where I stay. It's a good place to stop on my way. I often stop here on my way to town for meditation a little while, and on my way when I return. On the way in, I made a little short video, took a couple of pictures of the outside and a bull friend who happened to be walking by, passing by, just to show you the outside environment and give you a better impression of where I am. So please take a look at that, and I hope you'll see then how we go from that to this calm inside. And that's what we're doing in our practice. We're bringing our conscious awareness from all of the external stimulation of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and our busy minds thinking. We're bringing that awareness to one single point, our focus to one point of maybe our breath or another meditation object, in order to allow, not force, allow our minds and our bodies to calm, slow down, and therefore relax. So even when listening to the Dharma, long Dharma talks are useful to listen to just calm the mind, something to help us settle. These are more questions and answers that I'm looking at today, and are a little more stimulating for the mind, but in a wholesome and productive way. Different to entertainment in that we are looking at a question and applying it to the Dharma, and utilizing our knowledge of the Dharma to expand upon a subject and develop our understanding and develop our wisdom, and therefore develop our minds in a skillful way. This is panya, wisdom, that we're developing. True understanding, not just facts, figures and information, but knowledge of the truth. This is the important thing to understand. This is wisdom. So along with sila, our moral virtue, samadhi, our practice of meditation, and this panya, we are practicing the 3 constitute parts of the Noble Eightfold Path in our daily lives and activities. So this is part of that. Now the first question, should I go for the very short question and long answer, or the very long question and short answer? We'll go for the very long question and short answer. I'm not going to read all of the question. Essentially it's asking my opinion, the opinion of the Sangha and the opinion of the Buddha, or what does the Sangha, or did the Buddha think about, and I think you really mean, what is the opinion of those, of Advaita Vedanta, and then you go on to say Neo-Advaita Vedanta. Okay, so you can probably hear from my hesitation that I personally don't think about those things. And this could be my very short answer. Well, in answer to your question, I don't. But as you quite rightly include the Sangha and the Buddha in your questioning, what does the Sangha think about those things? What does the Buddha think about those things? Then I ought to give it a little bit more room and consideration. Now, really also, my opinion is always based on the teachings of the Buddha. And I am part of the Sangha, being an ordained Buddhist monk, but our job is to pass on the teachings of the Buddha through our experience of practicing fully our lives within the scope of those teachings. Now, the Buddha did not go into, in the scriptures and in his teachings, all of the other religions that were around then, and these are some ideas that have come out later on, so it wouldn't have been something that he gave consideration to, and therefore, as a result, neither does the Sangha. But I think your point being is the principle behind those ideas, especially this Neo-Vedanta, Advaita thing, whatever that is. I come from a Christian background into a Buddhist background. I didn't go the route of Hinduism and many other things, although other religions I have studied and come to understand. Hinduism is something that I've looked at only on the surface because it seemed very complex and rather too many gods for my to really grab my interest. It seemed a little bit too all over the place, a mixture of too many things. I like things to be quite simple, as you probably get the drift from the way I talk about the Dharma. But what you're saying is the person is just a total illusion of the mind, or what this theology, that your philosophy you're talking about is saying, is that the person is just an illusion of the mind. Hence, there is nothing to attain, so therefore that includes enlightenment. There is no enlightenment, and so no practice is useful. So I think you can tell yet what the answer will be. That's saying that Sila, Samadhi, Panya is nonsense, because we're just a figment of our imaginations. Well, that idea would be nonsense, because if you think of it like this, we are, firstly, our practice is Sila, moral virtue, then meditation, and then developing wisdom, Samadhi and Panya. If we think of ourselves as passengers or drivers even of a vehicle, this body, whether it be a figment of our imaginations or not, and this world that we're in, this universe, whether it's a figment of our imaginations or not, we are responsible for. Now, if this was a vehicle, a car, or a bus, or a van, or any kind of vehicle on the roads, our responsibility would be to drive that safely through along the journey from A to B, without veering off here or there, crashing into things or running people over, and being responsible. So whether this is within our scope of reality or imagination, it is still up to us, within that imagination, to behave responsibly. So therefore there is already some practice that is essential, and that is Sila. Even in your imagination, actual imagination, if you sit around imagining all day unmoral things, immoral things, I should say, bad things, you will become this. If you sit around all day imagining good things, you will become this. This is mental development. This is Panya, if you like. And how do we do that? With meditation, Samadhi. So even in this imaginary world that you're referring to, you have responsibilities for the vehicle you are in. Now, yes, the citta, the observer, the witness to your life, to your emotions, to your thoughts, is to some extent distanced. But it does bear the responsibility of karma, its actions. And there is the link. So I'd say I don't consider these theories as at all something that one could live a life by. If everybody was to run around saying, and I have met people here in this very town, that whatever you say to them, they say it doesn't matter, it's just imagination. And you talk to them about morality, and well, you know, you're drinking all that stuff, or you're smoking all that stuff, or you're doing this, or you're doing that. They say, well, it doesn't matter, none of it's real. It's kind of a fashionable thing to say that in any argument, because they feel they can win any debate on the basis that nothing's real. Well, we wake up, this is it. We are real. We are here. We're experiencing momentary, I appreciate, but every moment we're experiencing through our sense doors this life. And even if it's a dream, we are still experiencing it. We are what we are experiencing. We are what we are experiencing, and we are experiencing the result of the conditions that we create around the conditions that are created to actually create this experience. So we have to knit, we have to mesh in with the rest of the world. So all of these many, many things that come about from these many, many religions there are, a lot of them in this country, are rather confusing from that point of view. And one of the reasons why I didn't go too deeply into them. So I hope that kind of answers your question, and I didn't just say I don't think about them. Because you asked the question correctly, and you didn't just ask my opinion. You're wanting to know what the Buddha thought. And of course, well, he didn't. He wouldn't have thought that that was relevant. So, next question, and this is just according to me. So the opposite in a way, is according to you there a God? Or does God exist, is the question. I don't know, is the answer, because I don't. I don't know the truth. How can I know? In Buddhism, there's a previous video here on this channel, I think, called Many Layers. Or that might be just the name of a short. There's many layers to Buddhism. But you'll find it on here somewhere, where I talk about the many layers of Buddhism. The first layer being the Buddha's teaching that there's suffering, and there's an end of suffering. And then the teachings on the Four Noble Truths, the Noble Eightfold Path. Then the teachings of the Noble Eightfold Path broken down into its constitute parts of Sila, Samadhi, Panya, which is the practice, and then wisdom, Panya, the realization of the fundamental faculties of existence, which are anicca, dukkha, anatta. This is the core teachings of Buddhism, and all you need to know, fully realize and understand to attain to enlightenment or become free from suffering in this lifetime. But then as religion, as Buddhism gradually, geographically expanded throughout the world, it picked up various parts of existing religions in the countries where it encountered them as it travelled through them. And in the scriptures also, not only commentaries written afterwards, but in the core Pali Canon, the Tripitaka, the 45 or so volumes of the Buddha's teachings, there are references to many realms, but primarily from the human realm of samsara, where we are. In fact, all of the realms are samsara, but the human realm, below which is the animal realm, the hungry ghost realms, and the hell realms, and above which are the deva realms and the god realms. There are god realms mentioned, where there are many gods. I don't know, but I don't discount any Buddhist mythology, or do I discount any other religion's beliefs in a particular god. Because who am I to disagree? Who am I to say there is no God? I don't know. I can never know this. I can just know the core teachings of Buddhism, and that is my practice. I am also very interested in Buddhist cosmology and Buddhist mythology, because this is what we can experience for ourselves and touch upon, albeit maybe briefly, through the experiences of samadhi, through our meditation. And if there is something relating to devas, who are the equivalent of angels, let's say, to gods, so in these deva realms and these wonderful heavenly realms, if there is truth, if there is anything to be seen, to be witnessed, to be experienced by yourselves in that, it can be through samadhi, it can be through meditation, as can past lives or experiences that you may not recall through simply researching your memory banks. More is exposed to you through samadhi, through the jhanas. But in terms of your question, the specific answer is, does God exist? My answer is, I do not know. As far as the Sangha and the Buddha's opinion and the teachings of the Buddha is concerned, there are many realms where gods exist. And devas, angels, exist, as well as ghosts, and then there's the real realms which we can see, the animal realms, but then there are also the hell realms. But in Buddhism, these aren't permanent places. Like I just mentioned, they are still part of samsara, the circle of life, a hamster wheel of life, that you need to get off. Getting off this circle, this hamster wheel, is attaining to nibbana. But included in this cycles of life, are all of those realms, from the highest heavenly realms to the lowest hell realms. And different traditions divide them into many, many levels, or simply 4 or 5 levels, including the human realm. In the theistic religions where there is one God, they generally also have one heaven, one hell, and these are 2 permanent places where you go. We abide in the human realm, the animal realm, or the ghost realms, or hell realms, heavenly realms, or godly realms, deva realms. But there we are still responsible for our karma, and if we are being affected by previous karma, bad karma, we will be in the lower realms, good karma in the higher realms. But our aspiration is not to be in those higher realms. For true liberation, the best realm to be in is the human realm, because we experience a more or less equal degree of pain and pleasure, joy and suffering. If you're in the heavenly realm, you're going to be there for a very, very long time, because there's nothing to escape from. In the hell realm, it's your punishment as a result of bad karma, and there's no opportunity to do good karma so much. So you have to stay there until your debt is paid before you get the chance again, likewise with the heavenly realms, to come back to the human realms. But all of this is Buddhist mythology, cosmology. No one can tell you truly that this is how it is. However, you can, if you practice, maybe experience this for yourself. But my answer is I don't know. And that doesn't mean you're discounting any gods or any beliefs or any religion. It's just telling the truth. That why would I say yes if I can't prove that? So I hope that's a clear enough answer. And that's really, I think, the end of those questions for today, just those 2. I've got, as I say, some emails, or I may not have said, but I've got some emails which have some questions in them, but I need to go through those emails and pick the questions out because they're not so apparent, and I haven't had a chance to do that yet. So if I haven't replied to all of your questions just yet, I will. I do endeavour, I do try to answer all questions, both directly and like this on these videos. So many blessings to you with metta. I'm going to continue on my journey. I'll sit and relax here for a moment or two longer, maybe just a short meditation. And this is something you can also do. Meditation doesn't always have to be for a long time. Occasionally, if you have an opportunity, just sit and do nothing for 5 or 10 minutes before continuing with your activities of daily life. And you'll find that all things go more smoothly as a result of that. So, Namo Buddhaya, Sukhi Hotu, Sukhi Hotu, Sukhi Hotu.